Check, check. Where'd the camera go? My webcam stopped working. Ugh. hear me and see me now, I think. But now my mouse doesn't work. This is horrific. All right, now you should be able to hear me, see me, and I have a mouse that works. Can we start drafting finally? Why is the preview so far behind? Let's see. All right, let's draft. I trapped myself in a hell of like having all of these USB, I don't know, extension 4-in-1 boxes to try to get my computer to be farther away from the microphone so there'd be less fan noise. And it's a mess. We need one drafter, please. What a bad pack. These packs can have like so many rares in them, and most of the rares are good, and I got one rare and it's a land. It's even a weird artwork. So what could I take? I could take Nimble Brigand, which is a really bad first pick, but maybe not that bad of a card. Or I could take Trash the Town, which is another pretty bad first pick. I guess I'll take Nimble Brigand. Vault Plunder is probably the best common. The Congregation Griff. This card's quite good in the best color pair, but I don't know that it's good enough to give up my first pick, because it, like, you do need a pretty specific deck for it to end up being good. Take the one red card. I don't remember what the one red card was, but I'm not going to take it. Whatever it is, it's too late. I think I'll take Servant of the Stinger. Blue-black is both pretty good, and I think it leads to some pretty interesting decks. Which one is this? These blue-red rares, like, some of them are horrible. Some of them are quite good. I think this is one of the better ones. Blue-red is probably the worst color combination. It's Person is pretty good. I like playing the heist a lot, though. I think it's one of the stronger blue cards. It's common or uncommon. I think I'll just take playing the heist. Ooh, Archmage's Charm. I have yet to have that one yet. I have had Mana Drain. Having Mana Drain in draft is pretty messed up. I somehow managed to lose a game where I Mana Drained a spell on the third turn, which I wouldn't have thought possible. So Archmage's Charm actually really good and limited. I guess I'm never stealing one mana value things, really. My other options are not particularly good. I guess if I was blue-red, I could take this Coyote. That might be better. I'll just take Archmage's Charm, though. It'll be fun to play with. Oh, man. Lively Dirge. It's a pretty cool card. Yes, I'll take it, and we'll figure out what to do with it. For Desert Stew. I'm sure if I checked, Mobile Homestead would be the uncommon I've drafted the most. I think it's really underrated. Goes way later than it should. That said, this is going to be like a really bad deck for it. I think I'm still going to pick it over the Desperate Bloodseeker, though. This is the card I most wanted to get when I took Lively Dirge. So I'm either going to be a 3-color deck, or I'm going to abandon blue, I think. Am I in the market for a Torpor Orb? No, I am not. This Ambush Gigapede is not the worst. I don't know that I need 2 Ambush Gigapedes. Nezumi Linkbreaker's really good with Ruthless Lawbringer and Lively Dirge. So let's take that. This is maybe not going to be a blue deck. This is probably just going to be a white-black deck, but I'll see what rare I open. People know. They know that red-blue's not the best. What does this one do? Sacrifice any number of permanents you control, then draw that many cards. I am going to be in like a white-black sacrifice deck probably, but I think even then I still don't want this. It would be a lot better if you could sacrifice your opponent's permanents. All right. Is this the good one? No. I did get a really good white mythic. You can sacrifice all your lands on turn 4. True. This is the first time I'm going to have this card. Oh no, I don't want the Esoteric Duplicator. I want the good card. This thing can be really good. I don't think it's good enough that I should be trying to splash it. could just take Conduit Pylons. I could take Lazov and like keep a little bit of a Dream of Splashing Blue alive, but the Blue Splash isn't even that good. It's like Plan the Heist. It's not like Lazov is a particularly good card. Grindstone and a backup Lazov? Take Forlorn Flats. I could just take Omen Port Vigilante. It's pretty good. I do like Rooftop Assassin, but I'm not going to pick it here. I guess I'll take this, just to have a cheap creature. It'd be really nice if I could get another Lively Dirge and a little bit more stuff that's good with it. This pack does not offer much. I've yet to see anybody put Boombox into play, much less try to use it. Didn't really want a Wanted Griffin, but I think that's what I'm going to get. Or I could play Take for a Ride with Pitiless Carnage. I think Wanted Griffin's probably just fine. What does this one do? I need triple black. This needs double white to do the good mode. I think I might be able to play this. This is fun. I haven't put this card in the deck yet. I haven't had this card yet. I can sack my Servant of the Stinger to tutor for Insatiable Avarice. Tiny Bones joins up. I don't have any other legends, so that's not particularly appealing. How much is this to... And the Imperial Seal mode on this card is expensive and bad. The previous deck I drafted before I started streaming, I put Russell or Rampage in my deck and it was actually pretty good, but it was a very different deck. Is there any chance I'm going to get enough mounts? I'm going to be excited about Steer Clear. I don't think so. Rare draft. Guess I could play the Boneyard Desecrator. Not excited about it. This land is not that bad. I'm not going to take it just because I have so much color-intensive stuff. I don't want to color this land in my deck, but it is actually a pretty good card. Man, double Wolverine. So far, this isn't going great. We need some good rares to save this deck. Something good. I don't even know what the best thing to open in white-black would be. A second Ruthless Lawbringer, honestly, would be pretty awesome. But there's got to be something better at rare. Or mythic. Well, there is... I've beaten this every time someone has played it against me. But I do think it's pretty good. That said, I'm just going to take Ruthless Lawbringer. It'd be really nice if I could pick up a another Nizumi Link Breaker. Or if this Treasure Dredger just wheels, that'd be pretty nice too. That I could see honestly happening. Or maybe Rakish Crew will wheel. Feels like it's been a while since I've streamed. That's because it has been. I guess Unscrupulous Contractor is not the worst. Mourner's Surprise would be fine as well. I think now that I've got 2 Ruthless Lawbringers. Blood Hustler. Is that actually going to be good for me? What color pairs do I like playing this? I got most of my trophies playing like white, green, and white, red, I would say. I have had a couple of trophies with like more controlling black decks. I think I really just want... Normally I would not take the Link Breaker over Blood Hustler, but I don't think Blood Hustler is anything special. And I think when you have 2 Ruthless Lawbringers and Lively Dirge, you really want Link Breaker. This is one of the many 3-colored rares that you read them and you're like, probably not going to do anything with that. Rest in Peace, that would be quite good against my deck. All right. I'm now actually in the spot where I want, I forget what it's called, it's like 1 black mana, sack a creature, draw 2 cards. Some sort of corruption, maybe? Outlaw, so... This is actually probably going to be pretty good for me. Is the one at Griffin an outlaw? No, but when it dies, it makes an outlaw. It's the Unscrupulous Contractor an outlaw. It is. This is an outlaw. Not an outlaw. Not an outlaw. And also, this is probably the card that if I had to cut a card right now, that would be the first one to go. An outlaw, an outlaw. The insect is not an outlaw. How do you like the saddle mechanic? It's pretty good. I think if you're playing white-green, almost all the things that have to do with mount synergies are pretty good. I guess I want Forsaken Miner in my deck. I do like Trained Erranks. I think we're pretty aggressive now. And also, this is not an outlaw. It's a Cat Beast mount. I think Bovine Intervention might have the lowest win rate on 17 lands. It's really not a card you would want to put in your deck if you were going to try to win. Do I have enough stuff that I actually want Raymond Fellowmans? It's usually a pretty good card, but I actually think I'm pretty bad at doing crimes. So I think I'll just take this. Ooh, Skullduggery. I think I just want Treasure Dredger. It'll help a lot with the mana situation. Or I could take, should we just take the second Rakish Crew and play Pitiless Carnage for fun? Let's do it. I also maybe should have taken the White Tapper. Oh, Corrupted Conviction. That's the card I wanted. This deck wound up pretty weird. I'm excited about it. All right, I'm not going to play Inventive Wingsmith. Can I get by with 16 lands? Do have a lot of 1-mana cards. Well, I guess These two aren't really 1 mana. If I was going to cut a card, what would it be? Maybe Mourner's Surprise? Well, I think that that's going to be good with the way my deck is. I think I'm going to try to get by with just 16 land. It does make, playing 16 land makes the mobile homestead slightly less likely to hit, but you're so much happier when it does hit. Cuts both ways. Never put this in my deck before, so I get a 1/1 Merc. So it's like 3 mana for a 1/1. Then I have a pretty powerful drain effect that works with not literally everything, but almost everything in my deck. It doesn't work with the homestead. It doesn't work with the townsfolk. But the townsfolk kind of fits in the whole sack my creature scheme. I guess it only half works with the griffin. Is this thing an outlaw? It is. All right. I'm probably going to regret having Pitiless Carnage in my deck every time I draw it, but I'm willing to try. Maybe I should have played slightly more. I have more black than white, but maybe I should have played even more. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut 1 plains for 1 more swamp. What's my impression of the set so far as a drafting experience? I think it's a pretty strong set. Like, I think it's pretty interesting to draft. The power level's pretty high for limited, and the power level of the whatever the bonus sheet cards are, there's a lot of really good cards on this, but they aren't so good that they're just like massively better than the actual cards in the set. I think there's a lot of pretty strong synergies, but there's also just, cards that are good on their own. I also like that there really aren't very many cards that you just read them and you're like, I'm just never going to play with that card ever. Which is nice. I felt like in some of the sets that had come out in the past, I don't know, over the past 2 or 3 years, like they missed badly on some of the limited mechanics. So there were just cards that you, like once you understood how the set worked, you would just never play with them because they had to do with some synergy that was like way too weak. And so far I haven't found a lot of stuff that's like that. Maybe the red-blue double spell stuff, some of that's really not particularly good. Should I bluff attack? Probably not. If I didn't have the Blood Hustler in play there, I actually would have attacked with the Line Breaker just to represent Skullduggery. But if I don't attack with the Blood Hustler, even though it's in play, they should probably be able to conclude that I don't have Skullduggery in my hand. And I didn't want to risk that they were just going to call me and have the Blood Hustler get blocked by the Oasis Gardener. It's kind of a weird spot. I don't think no, I have played against this Oko once before. Draw 2 cards. If you've committed a crime this turn, discard a card. Otherwise, discard 2 cards. How about on your turn? It doesn't really seem all that powerful, if we're being honest. If they wanted to attack, they should have attacked before playing the Oko, because now it would definitely just chump with an Azumi line breaker, and then the wanted Griffin can kill the Oko. As it stands, we'll just be doing this. One of the examples, one of the cards that in the past would have probably been trash is the red-black card at knife point, which does not have a particularly good win rate, but I have lost to people who built their deck around it, and it was quite good in their deck, which is, like, that's what they should be aiming for with a lot of the cards, is just make something that you know, is good in the right deck. This has not been like the strongest showing ever for Oko. I guess it got them a bunch of looting, and they're gonna hit me for 3 with it, and it will have sucked up 6 damage. So that's maybe not the worst. Give me all these mercs. Guess I should have made a 3/1 merc and attacked them with it. I didn't really think that through very well. Feels like I'm pretty far ahead. So I can tutor next turn. I think I'll just go get Lively Dirge. Well, if I wanted to, I could tutor a card to the top of my deck. I could tutor a land to the top of my deck and hit it with Mobile Homestead. That's probably not a very good idea. I can do this to my opponent. Nice. There's Lively Dirge. Do you think my opponent suspects that what I just tutored for is the line breaker? Or the link breaker? It's not a line breaker, it's a link breaker. Do I think 3 steps ahead will finally replace Sinister Sabotage for Pioneer Dimir? I have no idea what cards people play in Dimir decks and Pioneer. I do think is Sinister Sabotage the Surveil one? Because I think the Surveil one's pretty good in formats where you can play with, what's it called? Dig Through Time. This is a nice draw. I'm going to play this, the Insatiable Avarice, next turn. Good 1, 2, 3 start. I guess if I drew up Plains, I would play Vengeful Townsfolk instead, but I'm pretty happy with this start as well. It's 3/5. Vigilance Ward. Pretty rude. I'm just going to drain them with Blood Hustler. Okay. More rudeness. I'm going to be playing Lively Dirge to get a Ruthless Lawbreaker to kill the 4/4. So this thing dying is just going to it's going to net me a free 1/1 effectively. Yes, I want the Link Breaker to die so that I can have 2 mercs. So I can start pushing through damage. Obviously, I could also sack the Forsaken Miner and it'll come back pretty easily in a turn or 2. But I don't know that I'm really gaining any benefit from it being in play. Or I don't know that I'm, gaining any benefit from keeping this, from not keeping this around and not having the merc, because I need to start attacking. There we go. Surprise. This is quite the stack we've got going on here. They just surveilled a repulse into their graveyard. Which, there are a lot of targets for repulse here. This makes me a little bit nervous about whatever they've got going on. Not bad. I think if they didn't have a spell to play here, they would have attacked with the Oko. So I'm not surprised that that happened. Wow, drawing another link breaker. They just keep coming. I don't think I've seen why my opponent has red in their deck yet. It's a sorcery speed. It's not. Oh, that's not good for me. thought I had finally turned the corner, but now I'm going to be forced to jump with the townsfolk. It's possible I don't even get the opportunity to do that. Probably not dead. Opponent would have to have some pretty good cards. To kill me this turn. Now that they've got two blockers, though, I don't think I can win. Because I needed to be able to... attack and kill the Oko. I guess I can still attack and kill the Oko. Probably have enough mana that I shouldn't just be sacking this right away, because I do have the 2 Rakish Crews in my deck, so I can get a drain trigger if I wait and have one of those play. Got a treasure. That's nice. I'll be enjoying that treasure. Need something good, like a plains. Not 100% dead, but I would be going to 1, and they have information campaign. And I would have died when I drew the Omen Port Vigilante. Punishment did me in there. I accept. I'll sack my Servant of the Stinger. Or will I? does this thing do exactly? To extra access the number of times you chose a mode for that spell. So they can make birds. Do I care about that? I guess it's a little scary. Come on, nothing bad happened to my vengeful townsfolk. This is almost always the case. An Izumi Link Breaker would be a perfectly fine draw. It's probably dumb of me to have attacked with this. Did I even have the swamp in play untapped when I did it, or was it just a completely free block for them? I guess if I have Skullduggery, it's not even really a free block. Whoa, they're not making the big creature. They're just getting a land. Because they wanted their dock or lock to be in play. Okay. Somebody say something in the chat. I'm beginning to feel like something has gone wrong. Sure. Bottom. I think we can do better than that. Thank you for typing in the chat. This format has not been kind to you. I've liked this format more than MKM. I didn't hate MKM, but I didn't think it was anything special. I think this format's pretty good. It was a bad attack I made again. I should have made this thing a 4 power. Like, I want to force them to trade. Take one more hit. They're really going to town with this spring slasher. If they don't play anything again, I'm going to Lawbringer the Spring Slasher, I think. They may have been holding a card in their hand because they know I have the Lawbringer. Like, trying to force me to use the Lawbringer before they play something better, but they don't know about the Lively Dirge, which is a second Lawbringer. A jailbreak scheme. They keep doing this to me. This one I will top, I think. Time to tutor for my second Rakish crew. I think so. I would win by a fair amount, I think, if I drew Pitiless Carnage next turn. Land actually isn't a bad draw. Because it's going to allow me to go and get another Ruthless Lawbringer. This is a good board to have. Could I lose from this spot? What could they have? There's maybe a better way to play that turn. Maybe I should have used the unscrupulous contractor instead of the lawbringer. If I just play the rakish crew, force. I guess they can block with the 1/4 on the 4/2, so they maybe don't take any rakish crew triggers. And then I can contract them and sack a merc, and they lose 4 life. So they would be at 1, so that's not actually good. It was a long match. Should I go for turn 4, just essentially concede, sack all my permanents? Probably not gonna opt for that, but I do have the option, which it's always good to have options. Geyser Drake, I'm going to have to kill that. Would it be too much if the Lawbringer could just blow up your opponent's lands? If it said, like, destroy target non-land permanent or as many lands as you want, would that be overpowered? Maybe. Oh no. Are they actually going to put up a fight? Maybe if I don't draw a 4th land soon. This is the second opponent in a row who had this card in their deck. I don't think this is a card that gets played all that often when it gets opened. You're going to need a spell, opponent. It's a pretty good one. You have Desert Stew as well, or Skullduggery. It's all pretty good. Not good enough, but pretty good. The Rope Master is the number 5 blue common according to 17 lands. I don't know how many commons each color has, but that doesn't make it sound good. The number 5 blue common. Like, I think blue is one of the weaker colors. And clocking in at number 5 amongst their commons doesn't sound very good. I haven't played Standard, but I've been thinking about maybe trying. Is Repulse legal in Standard now? Are some of these Prosperity cards illegal? Or none of them? I assume, like, you're not allowed to just mana drain people. It's not legal. Oh, that's disappointing. They each have 15. Well, 15's a big number. So maybe it's better than I thought. Is that what you're telling me? So I could burn them out. If they have Desert's Dew, which they almost definitely don't, it would be really bad for me, though. So I'm going to take the Coward's Way. I'm going to kill the 5/3 while I can. And we'll have the option of connoisseuring them next turn, or contractoring them next turn. The bonus sheet doesn't change card legality. That's what I thought, but then I thought I saw someone like showing off a Standard brew that had Repulse in it, so I don't know how I got confused or if they were confused, but just took one turn too long to hit blue. I don't know. This game wasn't actually close to being competitive. It was the brew from 2001. It could have been, maybe. I don't know. Good luck in 2, buddy. Okay. You too. I think that 5/3 Sphinx is one of the cards I like the least in terms of being in the limited environment. I haven't faced it that often, but the games where someone just plays it on turn 4 and you can't kill it right away, so like it just has hexproof if they don't do anything, those are really stupid games. Like I don't, it just leads to a pretty unfun play pattern, I would say. It's the kind of card that I don't really understand why they make it either, because there's just no way it's going to be good enough in Constructed. Nobody's going to just put a 4-mana 5/3 flyer that they have to stop casting spells for it to have any special ability in their deck in Constructed. And I can't imagine it's a big hit in Commander either. They had Repulse, which makes me not want to just play Mourner's Surprise for half value. Maybe I will now that they're tapped out, though. Getting 3 damage and making it far less likely that I draw a land next turn is pretty nice. Well, maybe far less is an exaggeration, but it does makes a big difference in whether or not I draw a land next turn, especially if I hit that land and then I get to Surveil. Want that thing? Yeah, I guess. Number 64 common overall out of 91. Yeah, so it's like below average common, and the commons are I'm going to assume that the commons are below the rares and uncommons in terms of average card quality, which I suppose is not necessarily true, but I think it's a pretty good bet. Yeah, I agree with what you just said, Michael. I mean, there are some rares that are like, wow, this card is really ridiculous, but they're at least interesting. The 5/3 Sphinx is like, most of the time it's just either mediocre or it just like kind of ends the game. Causes people, like, one person just stops playing, they just try to swing with their 5/3 every turn. And I guess the other person is still playing, but their options for what to do are extremely narrowed. It's like play a reach creature to block it or try to race it. Opponent did appear to have colored problems both games. I can't tell if they're being salty or being nice. It feels like they're being nice, which is odd, because usually people want to be salty. Does this thing have an even worse win rate stats than the Rope Master? If you teleported this card 10 years back in time, it would have been obscenely good, but in today's world, it's really not. And they had to just play this to put a +1/+1 counter on their guy. It's been a rough game for the opponent. Come on, land. And it's not a land. It is a good one, although I don't think I'm going to need it this game. Do people not like the Rooftop Assassin? I always love cards like this. I would assume they're about to concede. It's worse than Explosive Veggies in green. Sometimes Explosive Veggies is good. I'll try. And I'm not even close to being able to type. There we go. I think they were already gone. Sad. It's playable in blue-white flash, but not exciting. Yeah, I've drafted a lot, and I don't think that like the actual blue-white flash, like I really just never want to cast stuff on my own turn deck, comes together very often. Is the competition much stronger on Moto? I don't know. It's probably not that different from if you're playing in Mythic on the ladder. I got sick of playing best of one. Playing lots of best of one just made me like come to dislike the format so much faster. Because there are a bunch of cards that just never play very well in best of one, like Highway Robbery. I would assume does not have a very high win rate. If you look at the 17 lands data, but I actually think it's a like perfectly reasonable card. I guess I'll save my Surveil for next turn. The Homestead, see if we can cheat a land into play. I don't even know that that would be that good, but it'll be fun. It's going to be tough, though, because what if I Surveil and there's a creature on top of my deck that I might want? Am I going to put it in the yard so that I can have a shot with the farmstead? I don't know. I don't think that what they just did was a good play at all. All right, we don't have to decide. Nice. The Aloe Alchemist confuses me. I don't know how. I almost never draft it because it seems like people pick it really highly and it doesn't seem that good to me. In part because people always make this play against me where they, like, obviously it would be so much better to just have their 3/2 in play rather than they dealt 3 extra damage to me. I'm at 16 instead of 19. And they took 3 extra damage, and I'm going to get an extra Homestead trigger. And that's like probably the best case scenario for them for how it worked out. Obviously, they also, I guess, missed a land drop, but they surveilled a land into their graveyard. So maybe they really needed colored mana, but they have the pylons, so I don't know. This opponent may be making decisions at random. What are all the abilities on this thing? Yeah, this card is definitely, it's just tricky to play with, for sure. Do I want to set this up? I need 6 mana. This is an instant, too, right? I think I'm just going to play normally. Rather than like try to keep my homestead alive so that I can save 2 creatures through Final Showdown. Or my opponent might just not block. You probably have the +1/+1 lifelink card. If they're making that attack, would be my guess. They're just going to play it? No. I can actually do a fair amount of damage. Can I get to 10? Yeah, I can get to way more than 10. These 2 tap to saddle this thing or crew it. I guess I'm crewing. It's if you just joined the stream, you may be surprised to see the card I just drew. It's not even the weirdest rare I have in my deck. So I guess I can just attack them, and if they take it, I'll just burn them out with Insatiable Avarice. I should have tutored a land to the top, but I didn't need to. The Homestead always hits. Bovine Intervention. Was not expecting that. Could have given my guy Indestructible and gotten a free cat. Oh, right. I was thinking I didn't want to destroy all my other creatures, but I should just played this for 2 mana. And it would have been good. It would have been real good. Because I could have just given my guy Indestructible and then burned them out, and they would have died. Yeah, that wasn't the best play. My excuse is that I was caught off guard by the fact that they actually had Bovine Intervention. Instant Speed Dune Blast. You have to agree with me, Lone Goat, though. I mean, you're right that I did miss lethal, but it was shocking when they cast the Bovine Intervention. Anybody would have been caught off guard by it. Can't tell. Is TikTok Wives actually trying to type something mean, something nice, or are they just a bot? I'm not editing their messages. I think they're editing them. Or it's a real mystery what's going on there. Guess I'll save this surveil. So it's a little bit clearer what I might want. I would definitely surveil lands away. Spells would be a different matter. This card is really good. This one's legal and standard, right? I could definitely see that being like a standard playable card. Ugh. It's kind of gross. Game one, their deck looked not very good, and I didn't think they played very well. But this game, they're giving it to me pretty badly. Let's hope that they're not putting something absurd into play right now. No, it's something pretty absurd. I think I need the Wrath. Don't think I need that. So now what they need to do is they need to pick this up with the Pixie and replay it so they can get another hideaway card. They had the Pixie in their deck. They've been doing this at sorcery speed, but it is not actually sorcery speed. I assume they have something and this is going to go badly for me, but maybe they don't. All right. I feel like there's a couple of cards I could draw now where I actually might have a chance this game. That's one of them. So many triggers. I think they could have killed me. Yeah, they definitely could have killed me on their last attack if they had +1/+1 indestructible. Oh, they have the cow card. Safety in cows. Okay. Does it make sense to tutor? Could tutor for a 2-mana card and play it. Or I could just draw and then I could play 3 or 4 mana card. I could also tutor for a card that costs more than 2. I'm not technically dead. I think maybe it's better to just draw, but I'm not really sure. I'd probably have to really look at my deck list and think for a long time to figure it out. I feel like that was a good draw. I think I'm dead to them having another Aloe Alchemist, but other than that, they need 2 blockers. Or they need like a way to remove 2 creatures. Sorry. All right, they got a way to remove 1. It's kind of annoying, actually. Pretty close to them just being drained out. That was also a very good draw. If they block, I get the Rakish Crew trigger, and then it just comes right back. Rakish Crew. Oh, it doesn't crime. Okay. I was thinking it did crime, so I was wrong about that. But the fact that I have the Rooftop Assassin means that, yeah, it would have come right back. Also, or it would have come back when I crimed with the Rooftop Assassin. Also, I had the Blood Hustler, so I could have crimed it back. Also, they didn't block, which was probably reasonable on their part. I guess I didn't need to technically block both of those, but I would have had to use the Blood Hustler rather than play the Rooftop Assassin, which I wanted to play the Rooftop Assassin. All right. That deck was actually really strong. I never cast Pitiless Carnage, and it didn't seem like it was going to be great, but it did seem like the right deck for it. Let's do one more draft. So there is this Malcolm. It's a pretty good card, but it only goes in one deck. I think it's better to just take Resilient Roadrunner. What do the stats say about Formosity? It looks kind of bad to me, but I have lost to people who played with it. I'm going to go for the safe pick, the Mobile Homestead. You don't get as many Mobile Homesteads on your account as I've got if you don't pick them highly. I picked them early, I also picked them late. Shouldn't I be playing country songs instead? Why do you say that? Getaway Glamour is the best card here. Maybe the Possum is also a possibility. More on theme. Oh, because I'm drafting OTJ. I think I'll take the Possum. Wolverine or the Spinewoods Paladin. I'll take the Wolverine, even though the Paladin's a better card, but I think I'm almost guaranteed to be red, and green is like a maybe. Murder. Murder in a pack that does have 3 black cards that are somewhat reasonable. It's also Trick Shot, which Trick Shot is worse than Murder, but not bad that much. I think I am just going to take Murder. We'll spec on second color. Oh, I like this thing. The Rattleback Apothecary. Is it better than Vault Plunderer, though? You know what? It probably is not actually better than Vault Plunderer. Both of these red creatures are like step below. I know I had Mourner's Surprise in my last deck, and I did play it when I didn't even get a creature back one time, but I don't think it's actually particularly good. I'll take a Skullduggery. Mine Raider or the Raven of Fell Omens. Sometimes Raven of Fell Omens is really good. It's a bit of a speculative pick. You failed me, Possum. Trickshot is not a 2-for-1 all that often. Wow, this card wheeled. I'm not sure if this card is better or worse than Murder, but it's pretty close. If you're just using it as Murder, it costs 1 more, but it only costs 1 extra, and then like the little 1/1 guys that pump things are perfectly respectable. Man, I picked this card so highly the first time I saw it because I read it wrong. It's really not particularly good. I'll take Neutralize the Guards from my sideboard. I don't know that I'm going to really play a second Rooftop Assassin. And I started out thinking this card was great, but the more I played the format, the more I think it's more like a sideboard card. Like, I don't think you want to just jam your deck full of Neutralize the Guards and every Skullduggery you can get your hands on. Like, a little bit of that stuff is as much as you want. Like to point out, I wheeled the last pick, Desperate Bloodseeker. I think I moved into the right color. So now the question is, am I really red? I guess I'm not really red. I could be green with the Possum instead. This pack's pretty disappointing. I guess I'm taking the Contractor. Maybe I was supposed to take Kumbal and spec on being black-white. Although Kumbal is like, I think Kumbal is much worse than the white-black uncommon I had 2 of last draft. This card is so good. You guys wouldn't believe me if I told you the number of games I'd lost because my opponent played Bonnie that makes the giant ox, and then they played Bruce and they gave the giant ox double strike. It's unreal how many times I've lost to the person who paired the green-blue rare with the red-white rare to give their oxen double strike. But the number is more than 0. I guess I'm taking another Murder out of this pack. This card's really good, but I don't think it's good enough to start splashing white for. Essence Capture. Nope. So I'm probably taking a red card here. The best card might be Outlaw Stitcher. Be my first blue card though, and it's really not anything special. I think Thunder Salvo is pretty bad. I don't hate Reckless Lackey, but I think it's mostly for like heavy red decks where you're trying to play the 5/4 affinity for mercenaries. I'm just gonna take Highway Robbery. I don't even know if I'm gonna play it. Ooh, Vadmir, or Lively Dirge. I guess I'm just taking Vadmir. This card's obviously very good, but I do think Lively Dirge is really good. At least in white-black, it's obscene. In white-black, if you get the 3/2 Lawbringer guy, I don't know that it's going to be that good in this deck, so I'm going to make the safe pick and take Vadmir. I'm not going to take the Mirage Mesa. Backup Lively Dirge. All right, let's see if we can... We'll make something work with this Lively Dirge. Cruel Ultimatum. Oh man, it's so cool when you get a good Cruel Ultimatum deck, which you can get in this format. But even though I'm 2 of the colors right now, I have no fixing, and I'm also a low to the ground aggro deck, so that's not happening. I guess I could just take Hellspur Brute. Some of my guys have to be mercs, right? Not the Coyotes or the Wolverine. Yeah, I probably have enough mercs that'll be somewhat castable in turn 4. Black is really open in this draft. So right now, Lively Dirge is just get back 2 mana 2/2s, basically. I do have one. I mean, this is a good one. So that's nice. Terminal Agony. All right. Maybe I'll live the dream with the Highway Robbery to madness it. This is one of the weakest cards by 17 lands win rate data. It's not even that bad of a card, honestly. If you play it on turn 3 and then you just, play a 4-drop and a 5-drop, giving both of those things haste and menace is pretty good. But it's still not a good card. I don't think I'm even gonna play the 1 Raven of Philomens I've got. Which makes me not super inclined to pick this one. I don't know, maybe I'll wind up in a weird world where I want that thing. I did get 1 Hellspur Brute. I think I'm not going to have enough red in my deck that I really want to be trying to play turn 1 Lackey. I got a 2nd Lively Dirge. I have not been putting Imp's Mischief in my main deck, but I could maybe see boarding it in. Does this work on Cruel Ultimatum? Is Cruel Ultimatum target player? I'm going to pick this card just because it's like one of the most valuable cards in the set in the Magic Online economy. Should I play with it? I've had someone cast this against me and it did not seem particularly strong. And maybe it's okay. I'll try it. How many non-creature spells am I going to have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. I guess I have a lot of non-creature spells. I have a lot of Vadmirs. I had a deck with this Newt and Cruel Ultimatum. I never got to Newt the Cruel Ultimatum. That deck had the Newt, and it had the blue-red rare that plots gold cards when you cast them. I had so many ways to set up a multiple Cruel Ultimatum. And it never happened, although I did win all my matches. So, at knife point, I think it has really bad 17 land stats, but it's actually not that bad of a card. Should also take for a ride, which I do not think this is the right deck for that. I do really want to. It's been so long since I've Ray of Commanded someone. Like the build your own Ray of Command is really appealing to me, but we're just going to be a murder deck. All murders. Surgical extraction. After I murder their thing, I'm going to surgical extract it. That's probably not very good. Is my colored mana situation such that I can afford the Archway? You only get to surveil if you mount a desert. So I guess that's not really that big of a benefit. I'm not going to play this thing. You know what? I'm just going to pick Abraded Bluffs. I'm going to hope that there's a Ruthless Lawbringer in like the next pack or two. And then I'll have a little bit of mana to cast it. This is not Ruthless Lawbringer. It's the other white-black uncommon. This one's also pretty good. I don't think it's good enough to splash, but it is pretty good. I can just take a second Rooftop Assassin. Got a Buzzard. Another land to splash for the card I don't have. I don't think this Buzzard's anything special. I don't think my deck wants Corrupted Conviction. I'm going to take this. I probably don't want to just be playing random deserts in my deck just to trigger Vadmir. I will play more of this haste guy. This thing is so bad, but I lost to it earlier today. I was a blue-green deck that was like so many non-creature cards, and I couldn't get it off the board. It just dealt so much damage to me. It's embarrassing. Outlaw's Fury. This card's not unplayable. It's probably not going to be played in this deck, though. Wow, this thing wheeled. That said, I might want to just take the Link Breaker. It's my first 1-drop, which is pretty important with Lively Dirge. It also makes it possible for me to play a turn 3 Brute now, because I have a 1-drop Outlaw. Question is, what am I cutting? Probably one of the Rooftop Assassins can go. I want to play $16 land. Wait, I thought I cut one of the Rooftop Assassins. Did I have 3 of them? No, I misclicked and I cut Lively Dirge. So I need to either make a cut or play 16 land. Don't think I want to play 16 land. That previous deck where I played 16 land, I had way more 1-mana cards. I'm not going to cut Highway Robbery and play Terminal Agony. I could cut Terminal Agony. Do you have any other ways to trigger it? Not really. I mean, I could Contractor one of my creatures and discard to hand size, maybe. Cast it. Maybe I should just cut the Desperate Bloodseeker. It was a last pick. Maybe they're trying to tell me that it's not very good. Although this is a way to commit a crime, which is pretty important with the Vadmirs. I could cut the other Rooftop Assassin, Maybe that's the right choice. This deck has a lot of removal in it. It's not like the previous deck where I just had a bunch of 1/1s that I was going to attack into my opponent's creatures. And I needed a way for that to work out for me. This deck's I'm gonna hopefully kill most of my opponent's creatures. And my creatures will attack unscathed. I guess the one thing, if I do having one Rooftop Assassin in my deck is kind of nice though, because I can dirge for it if it's a spot where it's good. I could just cut Skullduggery. Maybe that's the right choice, because this is another card it gets worse the more removal you have. Is 10-7 good? No. Not with this many 2-drops. I'm just going to play 9-8. Guess I'm going to build myself. Maybe it makes the Lively Dirges slightly better. Wasn't supposed to mill my mountain, though. I was also supposed to draw these cards in the opposite order, because this guy's supposed to be triggering a crime for Vadmir. I wish I'd gotten one of the uncommon deserts that it's like 3-mana tap, target creature can't block. It's really good in this kind of deck. No. I might be just casting this. Get a flyer to start attacking. Yeah, that seems fine. Haste protection from coyotes. Can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste. Yeah, let's do it, I guess. One of the reasons I like the Rooftop Assassin so much is you can, if you don't use the third sentence on the card, just the fact that it's 2/2 flying lifelink, like you're still getting a perfectly fine card for, just a racing game like this. It's going to be really hard for them to race a 2/2 flying lifelink with just a 3/1 and a 2/2. You're about to bury it in the garden. double strike. Nasty. This thing is good with all the deserts. It's really, I played against one person who had 3 of these, and they had the sandstorm, whatever it's called, where you make one of your opponent's creatures be unable to block, and then you can, you know, trigger crime every turn. That was a very nasty combination. I did not survive. This isn't a tribal coyote spell. Just checking. Turns out it is not a tribal coyote spell. Hopefully they do not have Snakeskin Veil. Should I just double coyote them? Just get a random land out of my deck? Is there a better 2-drop to get? I don't think so. It's just all coyotes. They have some sort of anti-coyote card. Oh, that's a good card. That is a good card. It's going to get murdered, but it is a good card. It's a Snakeskin Veil. Oh, it's the lifelink card. All right. It gives these things haste, so I can't use the coyote blocking ability. This is starting to look like something I'm going to block with the Link Breaker. These don't have a third one. One of the things that's nice about Highway Robbery is you don't have to worry about holding lands in your hand because you can sack lands from play. So I could have put this land into play and not had to worry about the Highway Robbery. I kept it in my hand there just because I wanted to... It keeps information away from my opponent that I can actually afford to pay for both coyotes this turn. Maybe there's a world where this thing needs to chump. Like, what if they drew that Hydra? It'd be 6. I guess I wouldn't have needed to chump even if they drew the Hydra. Like, I can only chump 2 damage because the Hydra has trample. did have that Hellspur guy, and they played the Trained Errinks, I think is the name of it. But they're also a green deck, which... Guards usually isn't good against that. I'm not going to play this. If I see Form a Posse in game 2, I will definitely be boarding it in. Guess I'm okay with trading. The fact that I need to draw 2 swamps for my hand to really turn on means I'm not gonna... This is probably not a game where I want to just opt into a crazy race right at the start. Why am I playing on Magic Online? I've been drafting on Magic Online because I like playing best of 3. I think I've only done 1 draft of the new set on Arena, but I've done a lot of drafts of the new set not on Arena. This is exactly the job I signed this guy up for. Triggering crimes to grow Vadmir. Oh, I killed a Greenland. Nice. I also killed Mystical Tether, which is probably pretty nice. They have to have +1/+1 lifelink. That's what that attack means. Come on, swamp. I'll take him out, but it wasn't my first choice. So far, this thing is seeming about as disappointing as I was expecting. On swamp. Not a swamp, but actually not bad. Even get damage from the slick shot show off. Nice. I guess I'm gonna let them get me with what I don't take the whatever it's called. +1/+1 lifelink indestructible. I'm gonna let them play it this turn, I think. It's starting to look like I probably can't dodge it this entire game. Oh, it was ride down all along. All right. Nice. I changed plans mid-course, so I'm going to deal 1 less damage than I could have. I decided I was going to make the fancy play and guarantee myself a free land off of the homestead. Which probably I should have waited till the homestead trigger was on the stack before I made that play. Because otherwise I would have trapped myself with a mountain on top of my deck, which is probably not what I wanted. Can I die here to some sort of like the double strike card or the great train, whatever it's called? Yes, I could die to those probably. This doesn't seem like I'm going to die. Highway robbery. They know about the robbery. I like it. This contractor is way worse in this deck than it was in the previous one. The previous one just always had stuff to sack. This is just going to be a sad 3-2 for 3. I don't know if you're allowed to sack this to itself. You are, but I'm not going to sack my only creature on turn 3 to draw 2 cards. Ugh, I wish I'd done it. I wish I had sacked it. Kind of gross. So they're going to play the 3-3 reach. I'm going to go end of turn, Rooftop Assassin, untap, play this thing, murder the 3-3 reach, and deal a bunch of damage. They are potentially going to have another play this turn. It's a Discerning Peddler. They wanted to make sure the Sharpshooter was in play before they committed the Peddler to the board. Please don't die, Rooftop Assassin. Yeah, I think this is good enough that it's worth not playing the brute this turn. It's 5 damage, and it also... I'm potentially going to bait out a removal spell, or I'm going to have that happen to me. Yeah, all right. I didn't get the life, which is something. This is starting to look pretty ugly. Need something good. Getting mauled. I could draw a lively dirge. That'd be pretty good. I would get back a Vadmir, and I would get the desperate 2/2 vampire out of my deck. So I'd get a 3/3 and a 2/2 lifelink. And it would trigger the show off. I don't like this. They've formed a posse. I will be boarding and neutralize the guards. Lively dirge. No. That was not what I needed. I think I've seen about enough of the slick shot show off. Does not seem very good in competitive games. Killed my own consuming ashes. Do they have Thunder Salvo or do they have nothing? They have Thunder Salvo. going to feel bad if they form a big posse 3 turns from now, but I think that the opportunity to use that there and save my better removal for a different spot is too good to pass up. Already regretting my choice. I'm glad you're finding this helpful. Also, congrats on getting to play your first paper PT. That's cool. It's Bruce. And he's lassoing the law. Can you lasso the law artifacts? Non-land permanents. You can get whatever you want. Nice. Ooh. It's time to just suck it up and trade the Vault Plunderer for a 1/1. I don't even have Skullduggery in my deck. Like, is it ever going to get better than this? I don't think so. I guess the one way it could get better is if they played like an X3 and wanted to start attacking with it. There's also always the chance they just don't block. Which, all right, they're blocking. I'm going to lose to Highway Robbery again this game. Unless I could just start drawing my Lively Dirges. It's a big posse. It's really worked out poorly that I decided to neutralize the guards when I did. I did surveil 1 land away because of that. I've drawn pretty badly since then. So I don't know that I would be in a winning spot if I hadn't made that decision. But it's been bad. Ooh, that's going to be a lot of damage. $10 coming my way. I'll take it. I'd be in such better shape if I just drawn one of those turn before. The lifelink guy's down there, right? Yeah. Sadly, I milled 2 lands off the top of their deck. It was not what I was dreaming of. Put 1 on top. So I'm not going to get a second Vadmir. That wouldn't be very good. What am I going to get instead? Do want to get a 2-drop, so I'm probably going to get just a Roadrunner. Isn't Link Breaker pretty good here? Yeah, Link Breaker is also pretty good. I kind of wanted... I got the Roadrunner because I can start attacking with it, potentially. I'm not going to do it this turn because I'm going to leave Murder up. Also, this gives me a body to trade with the Sterling Hound, which I guess the Vadmir also kind of locks the Sterling Hound down, but I do need to play some defense, and the fact that they have all these mercs means that my people are not very effective on defense. This is not good for me. Who are they targeting? They're targeting a merc to start. If their last card is lifelink indestructible, I'm doomed. If I draw a removal spell for the Vengeful Townsfolk, it's going to be a big game because it means Vadmir will be the menaced lifelinker that I've always dreamed of. Wait a second. Why didn't they take up the shield in response to the murder? I don't understand what did they just do? That's their second Bruce. Jeez, their deck is good. It trades for 2 of their mercenaries, but their mercenaries wouldn't be attacking. Come on. No, unfortunate accident's already in the yard. I probably can no longer win. I wanted to see my next card, but it didn't work. Well supplied with Vadmirs this game. Wonder, is this thing actually better than Blood Hustler? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just not in my deck. Maybe my deck is not good enough at committing crimes to really unleash the full power of Vadmir. We're going to get to see a head-to-head battle now. That's pretty nice. So what's going to happen is I'm going to plot this Wolverine. Then on my turn, I'm going to play the Wolverine. And the card that's going to be revealed is going to be Highway Robbery. And I'm going to cast that and discard my Terminal Agony and kill their creature. And it's going to be great. And it's basically guaranteed to happen. Here we go. Highway Robbery. Coming up. 1 in 30. Called shot. It was a swamp. My called shot was a swamp. This was maybe a stupid attack. Yeah, it was pretty stupid. My thought process was, I've got another Vadmir, so whatever. But the fact that their thing could just grow made that pretty bad. Because if I'd just passed the turn, they probably would have just killed the Vadmir. It's like every turn I just want to draw Highway Robbery. Or Lively Dirge. Lively Dirge would also be quite good. It wouldn't be that good. It'd be all right. Mountain's not bad. Or maybe it is bad. This thing has pretty good stats on 17 lands, but I never wind up with it in my deck. Not really sure why that is. Oh no. Thought I maybe had a little bit of a chance still this game, but now I no longer think that. They're going to get the Siphon inside me twice, and they've got the Bandits Hall. And I was already losing. They took a swamp, so I guess they whiffed the first one. That's nice, I suppose. I was hoping they were going to block like that. It made me feel like I've got a little bit of hope. It's going to make it a little bit tricky if they lively dirge me, though, because I don't know what card they took. Maybe I will know before it becomes time to cast Lively Dirge. But what if they have my one Rooftop Assassin? What if I draw Lively Dirge and I want to attack with all my guys, hoping that they have the Cacturangula block a 1/1, and I'm going to Lively Dirge for the Rooftop Assassin, but they've got the Rooftop Assassin. It would be a disaster. Well, that's not the card they took from my deck. Probably going to get a desert and get another half a card off the Bandits Hall. It does take a long time to get the cards off the Bandits Hall. I guess that's something. Kill to shoot the sheriff, which I guess could have killed the Bloodseeker. I don't actually have that many creatures that I can kill in my deck. Can he bounce his own thing? I don't know if he could, but he didn't choose to, which I consider to be not sporting. Guess it doesn't make a ton of sense to attack there. They still haven't played whatever that card is, which means it's not a land, because I think they would have played it if it was a land by now. So it's a spell, and my deck is all bangers, so it's probably a good spell. Might just be Lively Dirge. Or is this from my deck? No. There's no way I'm going to be able to win if they're giving the boar elemental token lifelink this turn. So let's hope that's not happening. Okay. I think if I draw a second Roadrunner, which I do have a bunch in my deck, I might kill them next turn. I'm no longer going to kill them because of Intimidation Campaign. They had taken one of my Lively Dirges. Oh, that's cool. They're using it to get the Lockpicker back so that they can shoot the Sheriff the Coyote. Is this Coyote tribal? No. All right. We've seen enough. This deck would have been a lot better if I'd gotten maybe 2 of the red-black deserts or like 1 and 1 of the surveilled deserts, because had that happened, I would have felt more comfortable playing 16 lands because the colored mana situation would have been better. I do think this would have been maybe a good deck for 16 lands. I don't know. I do have kind of a high curve to play 16 lands, but I have so much removal in my deck and not that much card advantage. So I am going to be at risk of flooding out a lot. That's how a lot of my game losses have gone. You've defeated my murder. But I drew a coyote. Being able to plot highway robbery is kind of cool. It's not like a huge advantage, but it's another nice little twist. Oh no, that paladin. Probably attack first, sack the coyote. Need them to not have Snakeskin Veil. I think I'm going to play the 2-mana card just to play around the Phantasmal Interference, I think is the name of the card. It's Quench. I don't want to get my unfortunate accident quenched. It seems like something bad is about to happen to me. What is it, though? Rooftop Assassin. Alright, that's medium level bad. Not really that bad, though. Getting Siphon Insighted, yeah. Probably just looking for lands, but they're all in my hand. No. How many lands did I draw this game? 9 in 19 cards. It's a little bit above average. It's not actually that crazy. Certainly not good, though. Ten and 20 cards is probably going to be more than I can come back from. All coyotes. Just coyote tribal. No, I guess this isn't a coyote. This is a road runner. Protection from coyotes. That makes a lot more sense. Can they turn into anything cool with Lazav? Yeah, they can turn into a Rooftop Assassin. That's pretty good. Can they do the same creature over and over? It's just the creature, the turn you exile the creature, you become it. So they can one-shot. I think they should have became Rooftop Assassin and gained 3 life this turn. I don't know that hitting me for a bunch of trample is that good. I guess that this does mean that they'll be able to do more lifelink next turn. Maybe they're not actually in danger of dying. What if they... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess I need the link breaker to attack to force them to jump. Which I do want to do. Which means that... Is it possible they kill me? Probably not. Does this trigger every time they do a crime or just the first time? I guess if they have multiple ways to commit crimes, I'm probably going to die. I needed my birds to be outlaws. So we can get 5 life. They'd be at 8. So I'm a point short of killing them. Oh, the Lazov, because it transformed, it didn't get the second counter. So they could have done one more last turn. Could turn into Blood Hustler this turn. It's not that good, but it's something. So they haven't even triggered the first crime. Oh, they could turn into a Resilient Roadrunner, and that would kill me. If they have 3 spare mana. It would be karma for me not understanding that they were Roadrunners and not Coyotes. Or they could just have that and I could die. That deck needed, I guess it needed like 1 or 2 more good high impact cards. I also needed to just draw a little bit better. I didn't draw very well. Anyway, that's going to be it for me for today. If you just tuned in, you should go back and watch the first draft. That deck was really cool. The second draft deck was fine. It didn't run great in the games. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.